Welcome to this presentation on BA Law. I am Nondumiso Peñane and I am a lecturer at the Faculty of Law at Stellenbosch University, and I hope to see you at some stage in the future. Now, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I am going to tell you about the BA Law program and a bit about the knowledge and skills that we will expect of you. I am going to tell you a little bit about the admissions requirements and the selection process, the application process, and then give you some further information. Now, you may ask yourself, why am I going to study BA Law? Well, the first point to make is that you are going to study for 5 years. Your first 3 years will be a BA with law subjects. And then your final 2 years will be your LLB. So effectively, the first 3 years when you do your BA Law will also consist of around about 50% of the LLB modules, which you would have done had you done a 4-year LLB. So effectively, when you do your LLB after your BA Law, you don't do all 4 years all over again. You only just do the last 2 years. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the knowledge and the skills that you will acquire in the BA Law program. As you have heard, you will have law modules and you will have social sciences modules. And your question might be, which social sciences modules should you choose? Now, here you have to think very carefully about where your interests lie. If, for example, you are interested in politics, you could choose political science as one of your BA Law modules because you may be interested in becoming a diplomat at some stage, or you may want to do psychology. Why would you do psychology, you may ask? You may become a divorce lawyer where there may be children involved, and there your psychology background could be very important. Or you may want to do philosophy, and you might think, what does philosophy have to do with law? A lot, I can tell you that. Because remember, in philosophy, you always want to know why. Why are things like this? Or why are things like that? Why is it A and not B? In law, it is similar. Why, for example, if I buy something from a thief and the original owner, 6 years later, finds the property that was stolen from them and they find it on me and take it back? Why does the law protect the original owner and not me, although I didn't know that I bought something from a thief? So that is something very important for you to bear in mind, that philosophy will guide you in deeper thought in why the law works the way it does. And it also enables you to pursue other careers maybe, if you don't want to do law afterwards. Because, as I have said before, you may have the opportunity to study further in social sciences afterwards. Let's say, for example, you come to graduation after your BA Law and you really enjoyed politics. You may decide that you want to do an honors in politics, or you've really enjoyed psychology. So you may decide, well, I actually want to become a psychologist. That said, the majority of our students, once they've graduated with their BA Law, do go over to complete their LLB and then pursue their legal career, whether it is as an advocate or an attorney, but nonetheless, they will have that choice. Now, a BA Law doesn't mean that you cannot, for example, become a commercial attorney. We have colleagues at this faculty who did just that. So just because you are good at languages or politics or history or even psychology doesn't mean that you cannot become a commercial attorney one day if that is what you want to be. By the same token, although someone else will talk about this, just because you do a BCom law doesn't mean that you will not have the ability to become an advocate one day, because ultimately you will have the same skills. The key here is to follow what interests you, especially if you are not quite sure yet whether law is the eventual field you may want to end up in. So what will you gain in terms of skills if you do a BA Law and eventually your LLB? Critical thinking, which is very important. Reading and writing skills as well. One of the things that we notice when we do surveys with our alumni and we ask them, what did you gain from studying the law degree? They tell us, well, because we had to read so many court cases, we had to read so many pieces of legislations too, and large volumes of work. So not only were our reading skills improved and tested, but also our critical thinking. Because not everything in a court case or legislation is equally important for matters that we are involved in practice. And so we see that in this degree, students learn to distinguish what's relevant from what's irrelevant. So, critical thinking and reflecting on what one has read will be really tested, and it's just one of the skills that you will acquire during your legal studies. One of the core skills is being comfortable working through large volumes of text, ultimately to condensing that information into what is important, but also learning to apply what you have picked up in as important in the text to the situation you are assisting in. So, let's move on to the other important information, the admissions requirement. What do you need to study BA Law at Stellenbosch University? Well, first you need a 70% aggregate in your grade 12. You will need 60% in your first language, and you will need 40% in your first additional language. But please remember, these are only the minimum requirements. For the BA Law program, we get anything from 400 to 600 applications on an annual basis, but we only have place for 50 students. So, if you barely make the minimum requirement, you will probably not get selected for the program. So you really have to excel to be in the best 50 out of the 500, 600, or even 700 applications that we get. So don't sit back on your laurels. Once you've made the minimum requirement, you have to strive to be the best possible, because we're only going to take the best 50 applications for our BA Law, and we don't look at anything else but your academic achievements. So, for example, we're not going to look at your sports achievements or your cultural achievements. The only thing that we're going to be looking at, and that is important for us, is your academic merit. Then, in conclusion, for more information, you can go to www.matis.com or www.sun.ac.za/law or www.sun.ac.za/calendar. I thank you for listening to me, Baya Danki, Nkosi, and all the best for your future plans, and I hope to see you soon.